A lot of things aren't your fault and they're completely out of your control, but it just doesn't help you to think that way. It's like that saying of assume the rules of luck don't apply to you. It's the same thing where assume that it being someone else's fault doesn't even apply to you. Just assume it's always your fault. And this isn't a new concept. I'm not saying anything new here. This is stuff I've heard from other people that I have applied to my own life, and it's helped quite a bit. But taking accountability has really helped me take control over how things go in my life, much more so than I expected. But number one, you stop making excuses, which is a really good thing, because a lot of the time when you make an excuse, it sounds valid. Like, let's say I left at the same time for work that I always leave, and I always make it on time. But this time there was a huge accident on the freeway and I wasn't able to get there. I was 10 minutes late, right? I could say that there was an accident. And, it's a true reason. It's not necessarily an excuse. It's a real reason. But the fact is, nobody cares, and they don't know that you can explain all of that, and it's just nobody's gonna care. You're just gonna sound like somebody who tries to make excuses for yourself, despite them being true or not. So when I realized that, I decided I wasn't gonna do it. I was just gonna say, I'm sorry, and then insert whatever I am gonna change in the future. For example, I'll say, I'm sorry, I'll make sure to leave 15 minutes or get here 15 minutes early every day from now on, something like that, right? And the way this has impacted my life is I've noticed that in the past, and things that a lot of other people do are they care more about feeling like they're making progress than actually making progress. And this goes with the taking accountability and everything is your fault. Because, for example, I used to say I can't lose weight. I have tracked my calories and I've done my exercises and I just can't. It's my genetics, it's my whatever, insert anything I was blaming. And it was almost like I cared more about being able to say I tried than actually getting the result, because nobody cared that I didn't get the result. It was for me, right? It was supposed to be for me. It wasn't like I started getting overweight and my girlfriend was mad at me or something. It wasn't anything like that. This was all for me. I did this for myself. And when I realized that I was making excuses to myself, and I wasn't tracking things like olive oil and ranch dressing and all that crap that people tend to leave out. And I was like, why am I trying to make an excuse instead of finding a way? There's a huge difference, because yes, if you do a lot of hard work to eat super healthy and track your calories, and it doesn't work, that sucks. It really does. It sucks. I know the feeling. It's not fun. And I'm using this because it's an easy example. A lot of people understand losing weight, right? So if that is the case, and you actually do want the result, why would you not try to find a way? Why would you tell yourself that you can't and act like you did the best you could? Don't you want the result? Wouldn't you do whatever it takes to get to where you want to go? That's what I'm realizing now, and it's crazy because I'm saying this kind of like to myself. I don't understand how or why I was like that. Maybe I wasn't willing to do what it took at that time. But when I started taking accountability and saying everything is 100% my fault, it started becoming more of a way where I have to find a way. It's not that I did all of this and it doesn't work. It's like, okay, that was out of my control. I did what I thought would work. Now let's figure it out. We have to figure out how it can work because it's on me. It's not that there's something else holding me back that I can't control. We need to find a way to win. And that's why I like sports a lot, because you can see the adversity that certain people go through. Like, for example, in the NFL, if you see a quarterback with a terrible offensive line and the D-line just gets through every time and the quarterback just has to run immediately after getting the ball, and they still are throwing dimes and making those plays happen. That's what I'm talking about, because the quarterback can easily say, well, my line's not blocking, I don't have time to throw, there's nothing I can do. But they find a way, and that's what the great ones do. And that's why I really like seeing that and watching people overcome that, because it just doesn't matter. You could say it, but nobody cares. They care about winning. Everyone wants to win. So if you want to win, why are you going to use the excuse? Find a way. It doesn't matter. So all of that to say, since taking the responsibility for that, there are things like when I send out my pitches over email, over DM, or whatever, cold call to businesses, if it doesn't work, there's no, oh, it doesn't work, or oh, it's too hard to start a business because I don't have money for ads. There is none of that. You haven't developed the skills. It's my responsibility to do so. It's my fault that these things haven't worked. And it doesn't always have to be it's your fault in a mean way. It's your responsibility to figure it out. I don't expect to be good the first time ever reaching out to businesses. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what I'm doing. But that's because I haven't done it before, and that is because I haven't decided to do it until now, which was in my control this entire time. So the point of all that being, now, instead of just saying, oh, I sent these out and it didn't work, what the fuck, oh, this is terrible, now I decide, okay, we need to find a way to make it work though. This doesn't matter, it's okay, but we need to figure it out because it doesn't matter. And that's something that's been extremely helpful, and that led me to getting more creative with my approaches, where I got one client off of Reddit. It was so random, and they ended up being a pretty big company. And I just looked at who was hiring for certain things, and I found somebody that needed copywriting, and I applied and I got it. And it's just things like that, where it forces you to get yourself to think outside the box and do things you wouldn't otherwise have thought of, because you have to make it work. So anyway, if you catch yourself making a lot of excuses or feeling like things are out of your control that are preventing you from doing the things you want, try thinking that it's all in your control, despite if it is or not. Think of it like that, and it will help you. It has helped me tremendously.